Michael Bland. What's up, man?
Yes.
I was like,
all right, man. Woo! Jesse had rounds and rounds and rounds of ammo.
Oh man, he always does. He always does.
Yes. Just come prepared, man. For somebody who doesn't like to do interviews, when it's time to talk.
He just goes, man.
Yes. Listen, before we say anything else, let me just say I agree with everything Jesse was saying. 100%. Jesse's a real one. He's he was there for most of the stuff that these people, for the yarns that people spin, that like he was there when a lot of that stuff happened. He's an authority,
Yes.
And I know while certain other people in his circle might have been complaining or had certain things to say about their business workings with Prince, Jesse was educating himself. He was at the Minnesota School of Business. He was learning how the music business worked. Like, Jesse's a real one. Don't play with Jesse. Don't play in Jesse's face, because he knows what he's talking about. He's been in this business long enough to know. And I just agree with everything he said.
So, yeah, and the reason why I brought Michael on was to talk about this very topic, because obviously the big news of late is the latest development with the Netflix Prince documentary. It's not clear as to who exactly all was involved. So for the sake of conversation, as we're talking through the night, we'll just say Prince estate. So let's not get wrapped up in semantics. I mean, some of the primary folks that we know were involved in this was obviously Prince Legacy LLC, which is essentially Londell McMillan and Charles Spicer and whatever cohorts that they have that are in the mix as well. But anyway, the Prince account, to catch people up, the Prince account, they basically put up this post. I guess they put up this post along with it's got a video on it, but the video really doesn't have anything really too much to do with anything. But the video, essentially, the post says the vault has been freed, #free. No one knew what to think about it, and it started causing a lot of excitement and speculation and whatnot. But less than an hour later, they then put up this post that says #stay tuned, and it was a screenshot of an image that says the Prince estate and Netflix have come to a mutual agreement that will allow the estate to develop and produce a new documentary featuring exclusive content from Prince's archive. As a result, the Netflix documentary will not be released. So that's kind of what we knew. And Netflix also sent out a joint announcement to that effect. And for those that don't know, the contract between Netflix and the Prince estate kind of gave Netflix and whoever was putting together the documentary kind of exclusive access to the contents of the vault. So now that the Netflix deal is dead and a new documentary is going to be filmed, that aligns with the Post and Billboard magazine that we had saw at the end of last year. I guess, yes, of course, I'm prepared. I have a picture of that too, where they indicate Prince documentary coming 2026, 2027. So apparently what was kind of cool about that basically indicated that the Prince documentary, that means what I meant to say is that this negotiation that's been going on between Netflix and the estate has been in works for a pretty long time. And all that time, they kind of had to sit back and listen to all the complaints from the fans about why haven't there been any new releases, admittedly, myself included, but not as much as some of y'all. But they also had to listen to all that and keep quiet. And that kind of aligns to what Prince has said in the past about, you don't know what's always going on in the background, that just things that are happening that you're just not seeing. So, Michael, this is kind of where you come in, because as for this new development, it also means that a new documentary is going to be shot by a new director. And while no one has been named, I wanted to go ahead and apologize to not only you folks, but also specifically Michael Bland for suggesting Questlove, because there was a lot of pushback. And let me just say, the reason why, hold on. The reason why I mentioned him in the beginning was because he is a multiple award-winning documentarian who's done some great work with Summer of Soul and Ladies and Gentlemen, 50 Years of SNL Music. And this Thursday, the new documentary, I haven't seen it, but there's a new documentary they did called Sly Live. So he's entrenched in not only the music, but he was just he was one of very few people that had actually seen that full documentary, that full 9-hour documentary. And as a result, he could potentially have a lot of insight into what pieces could be brought over. And also, all that unreleased vault material that's in that film as well, that could be brought over in as well. But so that was some of the reasons why I even brought up his name. But now I am publicly retracting that suggestion based on this new information regarding Questlove's feedback on Prince that I had heard from you, Michael. So it wasn't new news. It was just new to me. And the pushback was because of this post right here. I found this post for you, Michael. It was Music Sermon had said something. Have you reached the Prince slander yet, Questlove? I don't know what that question means, but Questlove came back and said, the world knows that 1978 to 1988 is all I acknowledge. 10 years of magic, 5 years of meh, 10 years of mid, 13 of mess, 7 years of miss that guy. So there's actually, there's a lot. There's a lot. That's what's
there's actual proof.
Yeah, you have actual proof. So,
okay, well.
Okay. So let's break it down, because this affects where you were playing as well. Obviously, he said, based on what he said 1978 to 1988 is magic. That's obvious. I mean, it was magic. For You, Prince, Dirty Mind, Controversy, 1999, Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, Parade, Sign of the Times, Love Sexy. No question. Yes, that was an insane run of albums. Then he said 5 years of meh. And that would have been 1988 to 1993, which is Batman, Graffiti Bridge, Diamonds and Pearls, and the Symbol album. And then he followed up with 10 years of mid, which would have been 1993 to 2003. You're obviously in that realm too.
I'm on the tail end of that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Come, the Black Album, which he technically may have included in the magic section. Gold Experience, Chaos and Disorder, Emancipation, the 3 CDs, Crystal Ball, the 3 CDs, The Vault, Truth, Rave Into and Unto, The Joy Fantastic, Rainbow Children, One Night Alone, Expectation, News, all that stuff. And then the final thing he closes up with in his short little statement was 13 years of mess, which would have been 2003 through 2016. First off, to go back to the 10 years of mid, I don't know what mid means. Middle seems like it's like it was okay. Is that what that means? I don't know.
He was trying to get back to something. Maybe.
Yeah, like there was some stuff and then it was kind of okay or whatever. But the final thing he said was the 13 years of mess, which is 2003 to 2016, which is musicology, the whole MPG Music Club world scenario, all the stuff that was in there was in that. Chocolate Invasion, Slaughterhouse, C Note, 3121, Planet Earth, Lotus Flower, MPLS Sound, obviously the Bria Valente one, 3121,
Lotus Flower.
Yeah, right. Yes, I kind of went back. Plectrum Electrum, Artificial Age, Hit and Run, Phase 1. Anyways, all of that is crazy to say. So
it's a lot. It's a lot to dismiss.
So I apologize.
Oh, that you don't owe me an apology, man. We're all out here just just throwing turds at the wall and seeing if they stick. It's not, it's like my interviews. I've realized my interviews. What I need to do is start limiting the hearsay, because I need to speak of what I know and not speculate so much. It's because then you leave yourself open to criticism. And if things come back differently than the way you heard them, I mean, Jesse just talked about all the lies that get, perpetuated. I heard he bribed the maid. That's what somebody told me. So that's what I.
Did you hear me ask him that question?
No, I did not.
I asked him that question, and he said,
"What did he say?"
he said, whoever, somebody in the chat room can help me with this. It was like, whoever said that needs to be flogged with a dead carp or something.
Well, it didn't start with me, but it should have ended with me.
And I knew, yeah, I
So,
said,
but I think it's also a funny story to tell. It's like, really, Jesse was like that, but I guess he wasn't, But no, it's I mean, I can't even say nothing on that, man. You don't owe me an apology. Quest is free to feel how he wants to feel about it. My problem, as I said before, was if you're just going to be dismissive, you can't be a historian. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
if you're going to be an authority, it's not about what you like. It's about what happened,
And if you're feeling dismissive about a certain period of time, that's like 20 years of music, if you're dismissive about it, is that, if you're brought in to film it or be the director of it, is that segment going to get the love and the attention that it rightfully deserves? Or is it going to be, just kind of like a quick mention because of the fact that doesn't fall within, your area of magic, or that's kind of annoying. And I know that's what you were most annoyed about, was the fact that you kind of felt like it was a little bit dismissive of his, of how he felt about the era you guys were in, and
that's cool. And yes, I took it personally because it was my guy's era.
Yeah, right.
But the other thing I'd like to add, because I had some time to reflect about it, I think that because I saw some people making posts about, well, the signal chain changed, in the 90s, and everything got, very compressed. Like, there's a lot of complaints about the engineering and like the sound quality, and even like the production, and people are very critical of it, and that's fine. But what I think is that, and it's hard to do, because once a song is presented to you in a certain way, you can't really, I don't know, you're kind of fixed on it. But I mean, I'm not sure that any of those factors have anything to do with the songwriting. Are you judging the songs for what they are? Or are you judging the approach that was taken? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like there's a lot of aesthetic complaints, but nobody ever says, oh, the lyrics were whack on that, or those chord changes didn't really make sense to me. They just complain about how it sounded, and the fact that, oh, there was rap involved. Wait a minute. Hold on. So I mean, it's just something that I thought about,
Yeah.
And we don't need to belabor the point. There's a lot of other stuff that we could touch quickly, and
we are going to touch on some things, because here's the other thing too. As for the vault, because there's things that spin off of this Netflix Prince documentary being canceled. I don't know why I'm using air quotes, because it's canceled. It's dead. It's DOA. But as for the vault being locked up during this process, I was curious why it was like that in the first place. I mean, this is complete speculation here, not based on anything documented. So rumor and conjecture. But I believe at the time of this negotiation with Netflix, the estate had a lot of problems with back taxes that we had heard about. I think it was like in 2021, there was like 32 million in taxes or something like that. So maybe this deal really kind of helped them out of that, or some other financial situation. Because the only reason why I say that is because I can't imagine the estate willingly locking up their access to the vault for any length of period of time, unless it was like completely out of necessity. I mean, that's your primary source of income. I mean, to put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to ask somebody for permission to utilize something that's, I
don't understand that mechanism. That didn't make sense to me. Why would you forego? I wonder what kind of
it's an unfathomable position for the state.
It's just like, what kind of protection or security measures was the Netflix trying to? What were they trying to do by encumbering the estate's ability to do other things at the same time?
Well, I think Netflix's approach is that we want to put out a documentary that's going to surprise a lot of people and have a lot of content that people have never seen before.
Okay. So don't use anything we might be
right.
We let us have our pick first.
Correct. And I think why we got like the smatterings that we did during that period of time, as far as releases are concerned. I think that's kind of, where it was. I mean, to be clear, as far as thank you to whoever was involved in getting access back to the vault. I'm a little disappointed that we're losing the documentary on as a result of this. I mean, I believe, and I don't believe actually, like many people, that Prince would have been canceled over as a result of whatever was in that documentary. If there was anything that was like completely insanely sensationalized, like we got with was Escape from Neverland or whatever the Michael Jackson one.
Oh, right, that did. Every time I see that interview, I just I get hot.
Yeah,
I get upset. It just felt like a setup to me.
Oh, so brutal, so brutal. We obviously know there's nothing we're remotely close to that. I mean, obviously there may have been some weird things that may have kind of come into the Maite realm of that. But I mean, other than some of the things that we've already heard people say, I've never seen a documentary where anybody said, "Oh my God, I just saw that documentary and I will never buy that person's music again." I mean, Living Neverland may have been one of the exceptions to that, because I think a lot of even DJs stopped playing his music for a period of time because they were like, whatever. But I'm still torn. If the powers that be are concerned about his legacy taking a hit, then that's fine. Fine, let's just let's make a new one, whatever. Because we are, and I'm sure you are as well, we just want to hear the new music. This documentary is cool. It's fun. Great. Yeah, we want to see it. Sure, we want to see it. But majority of the people that are out here right now, we just want the music. Just want all we want.
That's exactly it. And not only that, I mean, I agree 100% again with what Jesse was saying about how, the certain aspects of this business are run on fabrications and lies, and you can't control the flow of information, and people can start rumors about you that don't have a modicum of truth to them, and who is it that said a lie what did they say? A lie can travel all over the world before the truth even gets up in the morning, something like that. It's like a lie can be all the way,
even that paraphrasing is good.
Yes, it's just it's like you a lie will travel faster than the truth. It's just how it goes. Some people are salacious and they're thirsty for things to discuss, and they want to celebrate other people's downfall.
Well, the other thing too is that there were some people that did this film that kind of felt like I've seen people that were in the film that were kind of and have gone onto their social media accounts and really have shared their displeasure for the fact that the Netflix documentary was canceled, because they were interviewed in the documentary and it kind of felt like it was an opportunity to kind of tell their side of the story.
Sure.
But at the same time, the estate is like, well, this isn't your story.
That's valid also.
So it's going to be detractors no matter what. But the most important news out of this, obviously, is the vault.
Yes, I don't know who unfreed it, but at least now it's free.
Thank you.
Which means they can continue to be productive. We hope they make the best possible choices. I mean, there's enough music in that vault to prevent any redundancy at this point. They can reach beyond Purple Rain 2.0. They can get into some things that the real diehard fans really want their hands on.
People are for box sets, and I've mentioned this before. I went through this list the last time you were on the show about all of the landmark album anniversaries that are happening this year. And I mean, the state's already missed one.
Well, run it.
Yeah. So 40th anniversary of the Family album, which, side note, by the way, Susanna Melvoin and Paul Peterson did a post underneath the Family account. They are in the studio recording a brand new album as the Family, not F Deluxe.
Okay. Well, hey, fight for your legacy.
Let's see if something's coming out. I mean, so obviously the name thing is now freed up in some form or fashion. I don't know what happened with that. I asked Eric Leeds about that. I said, so you guys get to use the Family name again? He goes, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, listen, Prince set a lot of things in motion. You do know that Sonny Thompson had a band called The Family. The original, yes. So I mean, even Prince stole it from. That's the funny thing about ownership and where things land. It's like
I still remember
Sonny's band broke up, and Prince went, I'm going to use that name for something in the future. Prince saw everything in way, he saw what he wanted way in front of his desires always exceeded his grasp. He moved through the world in a way to get to those things that he was already, listing when he was probably 16, 17. Sonny told me he was talking about working with Mavis Staples back then. Like Prince had a plan, man, and he knew who the true messengers were. And he knew if he followed the steps he needed to take, he would be rubbing shoulders with then his peers,
Yeah,
essentially.
Man, I'm just excited that there's so much of it. And again, the 40th anniversary of the Family album.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
I'm the one that went off the side. I went off on the tangent.
I can't even tell anymore, man.
You and I always do this. The 40th anniversary of Around the World in a Day.
Oh yeah,
that one is. Yeah, I mean, it's just shocking that we're going to let this one go.
That's what I'm saying. Where's the Under the Cherry Moon box set?
Right. Well,
are you kidding me?
It's the 35th anniversary of Graffiti Bridge, the 30th anniversary of Exodus, the 40th anniversary of Sheila E.'s Romance 1600.
Oh wow.
The 30th anniversary of the Gold Experience, the 35th anniversary of the Times Pandemonium, and then we just celebrated tonight the 40th anniversary of Just Johnson Review, but the state doesn't have anything to do with that, but it's still a Mixolo classic. But those are a bunch of albums that the Family, Around the World in a Day, Graffiti Bridge, Exodus, Romance 1600, the Gold Experience, Pandemonium, those are all experiencing landmark album anniversaries this year. And these are all, they're not, somebody's being kicked to the I don't even know if they'll even get one or two of these out, but something's got to happen here.
That's a lot to just kind of, to be lost.
You can't let all these pass. You can't let all these anniversaries pass without any recognition. It's just, it seems insane, but it's going to have to be. They can't put all this out that quick.
I mean, but here's the thing to consider. I mean, and it's like, I don't mean to be critical of the estate. It can't be an easy job to do. You're trying to please everybody. And, some things are just not possible sometimes, or some things just have to wait, I guess. But it's you're talking about a guy who released an album a year almost.
Yeah,
that's a lot to stay caught up on, and that's a lot of money going in or going out, and with the hopes that it's coming back in. I understand why they've milked the Purple Rain thing. I get it. It's kind of a sure bet if you want to cast the largest net. But the reality is that I guess I always saw Prince as I always just sort of felt him to be an independent artist who was on a major label. You know what I mean? Like, he had a lot of authority that a lot of other artists did not have, and he had his way with pop culture for, to me, the better part of 10 years,
right.
It's, it's a lot, man. It's just a lot. So I don't know if they need somebody who really, I don't know, maybe they don't need anybody at all. I don't really know what goes on out there. I'm just saying, I agree with you. That's a lot of great music that, and some of it, probably hasn't even been, converted into the digital realm yet. Can you find all of that somewhere online? I went looking for Sex Shooter. I couldn't find it.
Sex Shooter is a weird one. Because I don't know what happened with that Apple A6 album, but even if you try to look for the video on YouTube, it's not anything that's officially released. It's like, it's like out there from some rogue person who recorded it off of VH1 or something. It's like really weird. I don't know what's going on with that track.
We were thinking about playing it at the show in April, but I'm like, I gotta send out copies of the Purple Rain the movie just so they learn the right version.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you're excited about the cancellation. Not excited, but you're relieved that the Netflix Prince documentary came out. Not that you had any specific investment in the documentary, because you wisely decided not to participate in it.
I was
But
on the cusp. She called me just like she called everybody else. And first I said yes. And the next day I called back and said, I don't feel right about it. I feel like I feel like you guys you're trying to get me in the gotcha. It feels like a hit, feels like a smear job. I can't, ignore my feelings. And she tried to talk me into it, but I had a bad experience with like Reels TV or somebody where they took everything I said out of context and painted a very, dim picture, you know. And,
yeah,
so it's just like, and then I talked to John Bream about that. He said it seemed like they really wanted me to like, say something bad, say something destructive. It's like, well, why would you encourage somebody to do that? If it happens, it happens, But if you're encouraging people to bring forth the most controversial, and negatively skewed, you know, uh, yeah, it's just it's like it's. I just don't like the idea of a documentary about Prince being made by somebody who wasn't even a fan of his music. Really, that's what I understand. Is that Ezra Edelman, discovered Prince later in life, and he wasn't. He didn't. I'm sure he went into it without any sense of a need to protect. His job was to expose, as far as he was concerned.
well, I asked the question, who do you think should probably, do this new version? The two I keep getting was like, see if there's any possible way that Ava DuVernay will come back,
Yeah.
or Spike Lee.
Wow, Spike would be the real. That would be the real call to me, because I mean, I think
Yeah,
that he could probably deliver an even keeled, picture.
yeah,
I feel like he and Prince knew each other. I mean, Spike. The first time I met Spike was at Paisley. He flew out to talk to Prince. I think it was about Girl 6, and he asked
yeah.
Prince. He said, "I'm in a black man's building. Where the black employees at?" He said, "Where are the black people in Minnesota?" And Prince said, "There aren't any." And then Spike challenged him. "No, you can't convince me, Prince, that there's not some young boy in the hood, not one of us, who would like to learn some of the skills." It's like Spike kind of took Prince to task, man. It was funny. It's funny how some people are not just afraid to just say what is. Like he didn't feel a need to pander or dumb it down. He's Spike. He dresses all crazy and he doesn't care what you think.
Right, exactly. So, going back to the vault being open. Sorry, Jesse was texting me.
Oh, please, for
Going,
Jesse.
going back to the list of songs that are experiencing the album release, well, the landmark dates. Which of those would you be the most excited to see?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know if I can answer what one I think I'd want to see, but I can tell you where the heartbreak's at for me. I can definitely say that. I'll just be honest. I think that the movie Graffiti Bridge killed the momentum of the soundtrack to Graffiti Bridge.
There's probably some truth to that, I'd imagine.
Man, we were at Wembley when it went number one. Three Thieves in the Temple went number one. We were playing that night. We actually worked it up to play it in the set that night at Wembley. I'm sorry, somebody caught my attention. No disrespect to Spike. Prince helped and supported plenty of black people throughout. Yes, but he did so in secrecy because, partly because of who he was and partly because of the religion that his chosen religion. Prince generally didn't want people to know about his acts of charity, or, he was never looking for credit. I heard Susan Rogers say in an interview that he used to play children's hospitals all the time. Like they carried the extra equipment to play for people who were less fortunate or couldn't come out to the shows, but he did so in with one rule, saying that he didn't want any press involved. Prince never wanted credit for his good deeds. So,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, Prince definitely did a lot uh, for the Black community, but again, it's like a lot of people didn't know. And I'm talking about, this is like 1994, you know, so it's, I mean,
Well, out of the list, most people you're seeing his chat.
okay. So
Right?
also I was going to say the Gold Experience, that was a missed opportunity. That record sat on the shelf too long while a bunch of squabbling, while a bunch of fighting was going on. I I I think that had the Gold Experience had its proper push and Warner Brothers had been behind it, I think that it's without the controversy, I think the record probably would have done pretty well.
Well, he was trying his best just to kind of shake it. It was like he's right there at the finish line, but he was just.
We were playing those songs for over a year before the record even came out. It's like by the time it came out, we were on a whole different vibration,
Yeah, it was. It's just.
So I'm like, you can't, some things I don't think you can get back.
Well, and when I look at the list here, I'm also taking into consideration, in order to make any of these a super deluxe, I'm thinking of the content that I'm aware of only by rumor of the content that is sitting in the vault that could make up a super deluxe and kind of, add a bunch of songs around it. Like Around the World in a Day would be fantastic, because I also know there's many songs that are sitting in the vault from that era that would make a unbelievable. Obviously, Parade is the one I'm most excited to see, because there's so much things that they can do with it, with the film and everything, but Parade's not on the list. It can be, but it's not celebrating any landmark anniversary this year. I think that happens.
I got you. Okay.
That happens next year. So get ready next year.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, what I'm really interested in is are the places where Prince used his influence and his power to express himself more accurately. I think Around the World in a Day is incredible.
Unbelievable.
I think the soundtrack to Parade is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sign of the Times is incredible. I mean, they did that one though. Yeah. They did Sign of the Times.
Toy Judge said, well, the song's a year long and have been played 4 months.
when they put it on the rack, is not all in the place. Yeah.
She's quoting lyrics there.
From Joy and Repetition. I know. Come on, man. It's where I live here.
No, I know. I was doing it for the other people in the chat room.
Okay. I bet they do. They probably caught it.
Yeah, there's gonna be some that don't. I listen to stuff all the time, and it's like sometimes I'll listen to like a music interview, like maybe Howard Stern has become really, really good at doing some good interviews. He used to be a mess, but he's really, toned down. He's really good at digging in. But a lot of times I'll be listening to it, and there'll be things that are said that I guess they assume other people know that are listening, and and
I got you.
It's always good to kind of just fill in those gaps for those.
I got you, man. I just feel like we're in the information age. Anything you want to know, other than who shot President Kennedy, is out there. Yeah.
Who knows now? I haven't seen the new unclassified or classified files that have been released on that.
Oh, you know what? I watched some show on Netflix where they talked about it, and it was like this guy was telling this other guy that he's like that the Zapruder film was doctored, and he's saying that the driver was the one who shot Kennedy. I can't remember what I was watching. Anyway, we digress. Let's get back to the.
Anyways, I'm excited about all of it. I'm glad that I really have no duck in the hunt as far as the Netflix documentary. I know a lot of people are upset about it, but if people would just take a step back and go, is this something we really need? Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, just do whatever you're going to do. We want the music. That is what we're focused on. That's what we want. That's
we need the music more than we need
the
doc. I mean, and also, I agree with Jesse in respect to the fact that it's like, we live in a different world right now. People can't wait to be offended at every turn. People are, pulling together social groups to stamp out, that 100 people over there, and that, you know what I mean? It's like, everybody makes a big deal out of everything now.
Yeah,
and it won't go well.
Yeah.
I think that the estate was wise to protect Prince's legacy
yeah.
in
I
this
think
respect, because you can't quantify what the feedback is going to be. Yeah, concert footage. Actually, they got other films they can put out
oh yeah.
about some of those concerts. You
We-
know, they probably have transferred. I mean, he professionally shot every show on the Diamonds and Pearls tour. You know, so I'm sure he did that with probably on every tour. There's probably just a backlog of just incredible shows. You know, I mean, personally, I'd rather see that.
and I've heard people keep screaming about, let's do the MPG Music Club, MPG Music Club, redo the MPG Music Club, redo it so that those types of things can come out, that concert footage, because literally if he's recorded every single concert, that means there's pretty decent recordings, video wise and audio wise, of all of those shows, all those offshoots, all those different jam sessions that just kind of sparked, all those after parties, all those things that are out there and locked up in the vault. And there is enough material to be able to put it out and drip it out. And I think I saw somebody in the chat room say they could make literally tens of millions of dollars every single year from people that would be willing to sign on and get that regular fix.
It's the smartest thing they could do, because Prince has I don't know how many other artists have.
U2 does. If you're going to talk about people that have music clubs, U2 does. Yes. They have a pretty significant one. So does Dave Matthews Band. There's a bunch of bands that are out. John Mayer. There's a bunch of different bands that have a regular subscription type of service where you can kind of go. I joined U2's a long time ago, and then I canceled because it was getting expensive. But some of the stuff they would send out, this is not available. It's called U2 Experience. And this is not available to the general public, but it was only things that they sent to people that were in this group. And
I mean, I think there's enough people. There's enough diehard like Prince fans to make that a successful revenue stream. We all anybody who's a real Prince fan is all in. They want to see what was he up to, what was he doing, what was he thinking. You know, oh, this is an interesting song. So I wonder what that is about. I mean, you're talking about somebody who was so prolific in their output. I mean, he was just a faucet with no turnoff valve. You know, he just song after song after song, leaving rehearsal to go to the studio. You know, and coming back, and then we go in the studio to see what he was working on before that. And Mike get pulled into the process. That happened all the time. It was like a leaky faucet. Prince he couldn't control it.
Yeah, I mean, and that just like what water light. This is the second time I put your name up, and I don't know. Water lilied, is that what it is? Water lied. It says, "Oh yeah, easy passive income for the estate, other than replacing purple rain." Yeah, good point.
And you don't have anybody to argue with about it. Just do your thing.
You basically come up with. You can preset that up, and you don't have to do like a whole bunch of work, because a lot of that stuff was already pretty well mastered, but just kind of putting it out there and dripping it out, and it's not something that you have to worry about as far as, because you're not going to run out of content like at all.
Right. You can keep. Was it Sonny who said that about? Said, what if somebody wanted to hear everything that was released from the vault? And Sonny said, you'd be sitting there for like 20 years. I've said something like that. I don't remember the time amount, but he was just like,
I said that
sitting for hours and hours and hours.
You'd be sitting there for years, and then on your deathbed, you'd be like, all right, I made it all the way to the end. And then somebody would come up and whisper in your ear, oh yeah,
they found another. Yeah, there was a secret vault in the vault.
It was insane. So ridiculous.
I mean, you don't know how many songs I was like, wow, this is going to be cool when he finishes it. And it just never hit the light of day. You know, all sorts of stuff just got put back in. And it wasn't necessarily because he was dissatisfied. Sometimes I think it got too deep for him.
Those after parties that you guys did were unreal. Some of those shows and concerts that you guys did, I mean, they're already at legendary status as it is, and they haven't even been released. Imagine if they actually saw official releases. It'd be like,
Well, I'm saying that live from the Glam Slam performance, that's a throw off. That was we were just he wanted to just kind of let's see what we're doing here.
yeah, but he set that up with Scott McCullough and those guys, and just really kind of set the bar and just had all those cameras, and I'm sure that wasn't the only time he did that. Do you remember other shows that he kind of gave it similar treatment with videos and stuff?
Yes, but the what makes the Glam Slam DVD different is literally we just got the horn section. They didn't really even understand Prince's language on stage, like the cues and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They had been in the studio, but they hadn't been on stage with us, So you can see them looking like frantic, like Mike Nelson is looking back and forth and watching Prince, and sometimes there's a couple minor mistakes here and there, like you hear people kind of, you're on the one and you hear somebody make a little stab here or there, it's raw. We weren't in fine form yet. By the time we got to touring later that year, oh man, we were so much better, and we're great even in that moment. Like it may not have been perfect, but there's a spirit running through us, running through that room on that show, man. When Prince is dancing like a crazy person on the bar at the at the under end of the club, like I was back in the corner, I couldn't see any of that, But then I see how hard he was dancing in them shoes. It's like there could have been,
on a bar
on the beach, spilled here and there. Like he could have slipped off of there and really hurt himself. But he went all the way on it. He knew what it was going to look like. He had the foresight. He's like, if I don't completely dance like I'm, with authority, it's not going to look like I want it to look. You see him committed, like he's dancing like he was dancing on the stage, just on a path this narrow,
Yeah, but he's always going to go with. I mean, again,
he will go the extra mile.
I've seen him 27 times in concert, and that is including after parties and whatnot. But the reality of it is that I've never seen a show where he did not give his all. Like it was just like he was always just. It didn't even matter if he wasn't feeling well. The Atlanta concert, his final show, he was feeling like total garbage. It was already canceled one time and moved.
But he reached deep down.
And when for those who have heard that show, which is unreleased, by the way, I was there. And I heard it there, but I've also heard it afterwards as well. Uh-huh. But I can tell you, it's just as magic. It is just as magic.
Yes, and I was actually, it gave me some solace to hear somebody else talking about. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Fink. I was really fascinated with Fink recently, and I watched a bunch of his interviews. But I'm not sure it was him, but somebody said, even Prince would say, I don't always feel like it. I don't know, it's not, to me, in my mind, in my 20-year-old mind, I was like, this dude loves the stage. He's unstoppable. You can't keep him from it. But the reality was he had a responsibility. Like he took his responsibility as an entertainer and an artist seriously. And it's for the fans. It was not for himself. It was, he felt like if God is going to send me this material, if God is going to allow this greatness to occur, I have to obey.
Right.
That's really how he conducted himself. I never heard him say that, but that's what his life said.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's supposed to do. If God blesses you with something like a voice or a musicianship like he had, or he
gave it to you to use it.
Whatever it is that your strength is that God gave you, you need to be able to use it in order to properly align yourself with the trajectory that he has planned for you. And
yes, that's why he's
constantly in touch with that. No, he was constantly in touch with that.
Yes. One thing that a lot of people don't understand is that when we have a passion for something,
right,
there's something on the other end that is reaching out to you also. Like there's a reason you want what you want. You know what I mean? It's not just you casting your desires into the universe and hoping for the best. When you have these feelings internally, I'm just speaking from my own experience and like kind of the book of Bland, I guess. Like
Yeah.
there is a mutual condition going on. Like something in your universe or within your realm is calling you to that. You don't just want it for no reason.
Right. You
You
keep your
know?
to it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
also people say that, you know, it's not what you attract, but it's, what you entertain. So you do have to make the right choices. There's always stuff out there calling you that, you know, if I go in Speedway or 7-Eleven, the Twinkies are going to be calling me. I love you, Twinkies, and Twinkies, you love me too, but it's not going to work.
I know. Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
can't.
get home and eat my broccoli and my, sorry, Twinkies. I know you want me and I want you, but I can't do it.
Yeah, it's just
So you
unreal.
got to be careful what you entertain. But I really think that, yeah, whatever you are passionate about, yeah, like I mean, that's what I advocate. But I also know that the chances of somebody ending up in my position are slim to none. I worked with one of the most prolific artists in history. I worked through his process with him. It's the most. I used to kick myself after Prince died and say to myself, I wish I could have been a better friend to Prince. You
Mm,
know, like I wonder if there was a way I could have been of more use to him, like not just in his work, but in his life. But really, his work was his life, and to be that's. I mean, somebody made me. I don't remember who said it, but somebody made me realize that's as intimate as you can get. If you're involved in the work of an artist, he's trusting you. They're trusting you with their vision. That's that's
yeah,
you know that's it. Doesn't get deeper than that. You know.
and we're just so blessed to have been in his orbit. It's just, it's just, there's
Absolutely.
not they cars like that don't pass you every day, right? Right. So,
Listen, you could do it all day. You could quote him. And the reality is that he poured his life into his music because that's how he wanted to be remembered. The documentary is what it is. It's not necessary. And I really, you know, can I take this little like adjunct? I know you got to go, man. You've been on
no,
here for
no,
4
no.
hours.
It's fine. No, dude,
What are you, a truck driver? You got to, what are you peeing in? What are you?
I'll make sure that
You
I
think?
completely excavate
I'm
before
sorry, man.
even
That was
I
awful.
make sure. Well, and I had a couple things going. I mean, first off, that's what I
What,
do.
you got
But
a mason jar under that desk? What are you?
no, 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 I can hold it. That's
Okay, all right. Well, me too.
long.
I take long trips. Also from drumming all these years, I've got edema, so my ankles swell up anyway. I retain water no matter what. I'm old, man. It just,
I
these are.
told everybody. I said tonight's going to be a long show. Get ready.
Sorry,
I
but
said, get
I don't mean to make it longer. But can we
no,
address
it's fine. Sure.
the Kendrick Lamar Superbowl halftime show
Oh
for just a
no.
minute? We don't have to.
No, and yeah, I want to hear what you have to say, and I'll give my perspective.
Well,
Unless you,
I've been in. I have. I'll say to every black person watching, you need one white friend that you can be 100% honest with, and they
right?
can be 100% honest with you. I
Yes.
have that, and uh, you know, um, we were talking, and I asked myself, I didn't watch the halftime show while it was live. I watched it after because
Okay.
I don't care for football. It doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
And I'll try to keep this clean. I don't want to make a big thing out of it. But uh, my friend kept saying like, oh well, all the I was at a Super Bowl party and Kendrick came on and it was mostly professional white people middle upper class, and they were like,
I already know.
whoa, what was that? It was like they weren't offended necessarily, but they were just like, well, I didn't find that entertaining. I don't know what this is about. You're like, well, do you think our team's gonna be able to pull it together? It
Right.
was like that. It's kind of, they were sort of just unaffected.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. The
But
white
meanwhile,
America had no idea what was happening.
Trump
Different.
stands up. All he needs to know is, I don't see any white people on the field right now. It must be time for me to bounce. There's no way he understood the idiomatic language
Mm.
of black youth. He didn't know what to be offended about, so he just kind of used his eyes to assess the situation. It was like, this is where I leave you. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, and the thing about you're after the truth thought.
Okay,
Go ahead.
well, okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
No, go ahead.
My thing is this: is that my friend's argument had to do with, if you get an opportunity like that, why cloak everything you're doing in, like metaphors and things that everybody's not going to get? And I had to tell him about the danger of crossing over,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember watching an interview of Patrice O'Neal. It's talking about, do you know who that is?
Rest in peace. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Everybody should know who Patrice O'Neal is.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, incredible. But he talked about how all of his, I mean, you see in a documentary, all his friends, like, we always trying to push him, like, listen, play the game and let the world in on who you are, man. You could be a huge star. And his argument was, well, what if it doesn't work out? I can't go back to what I was. Not only that, as you head up the scale, different things are going to be asked of you. You're going to make promises that you really don't want to keep. There's a lot to lose on the other side of being crossover, And so I said, no, he did what he needed to do to protect, his work. He's an artist first. He's an entertainer second. I don't think Kendrick is any sort of spectacular performer, but I think that, I didn't know until recently that he got a Pulitzer Prize.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's certainly got enough external validation to tell him he's on the right track.
Yeah, for an album that he should not have gotten that for. He got it for Damn, but he should have.
Okay. Just the fact that he got one, period.
Yeah, he should have gotten it for To Pimp a Butterfly, because that was a far superior album to Damn, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm not trying to match wits. I'm just saying.
I get it. But see, that's the thing. I am a big Kendrick Lamar fan. I've seen him four times. I've seen him 4 times in concert. But
all right, I'm not.
But I get where you're going with halftime, and I can tell you what happened.
Well, okay. Would you want to give your synopsis?
Well, here's the thing. First off, yeah, white America had no idea what was happening. Matter of fact, let me here. If you look at my wall over here, that right next to that's Kendrick Lamar on that green poster that's over there, and there's me and Kendrick hanging out at Lakewood. So I've seen him. The thing with Kendrick is he is an highly intelligent individual, and he spends a lot of time embedding political statements and cultural statements into his music, like a lot of rap does. But the way that he does it, you really have to dig and you really have to analyze what he's saying, because some of it is like and that's one of the reasons why him and Prince kind of aligned a lot, is because Prince invited him out.
So whoever asked him to do the halftime show, they knew what they were asking for.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they knew what the result was going to be, because if you actually paid attention to everything that was going on, there was a bunch of things that were happening that you missed. Like when he had the Bloods and the Crips, the red, white, and blue, making
all that America on the backs of blacks. Yeah, build on the backs of blacks. Yes.
And then when he dropped, but a lot of people didn't see that though. A lot of people were just kind of, well, this is kind of they're color coordinated.
You know why? Because they're not trained to look for it.
And
halftime's supposed to be about, hey, give me another beer. Oh, are the Stones on yet? It's supposed to be that. They're not tuning in to be educated.
Right. And then when they all dropped, when they did the overhead, and they all dropped, and every single one of them dropped in the shape of a swastika. I don't know if you saw that. There was a lot of political statements that were being made.
Yes, he took his shot, because when you're black, you got to take every opportunity you can to fight to fight against the subjugation of your people. It's incumbent upon you. If you reach a point where you can say something, you have got to represent. It's the code. I don't think white people understand that, because every day somebody white saying something that you got to listen to. So for a young black man to take a stage like that in front of that many people, and risk the credibility of his career saying what he really feels, that's important. Even if I don't, he's not my favorite rapper. I don't have any Kendrick's records. I don't necessarily care for his music, but I will always fight for any young black, uh, intelligent, artistic person to speak upon what they see and their experience in this country. You know,
There's a lot of rap that I don't get. Like some of the
I didn't
big
say I didn't get him. I just said I don't care for him.
well, that I don't care for. There's like my alignment with hip hop, and as far as there's certain bands that I like. I like The Roots. I like Kendrick Lamar. I like Diggable Planets. I like
Okay.
some of the bands that have like that flow to them, and there's actually some musical, there's good music behind it. That's kind of what drew me to Kendrick, was when he was doing the Pimp a Butterfly on the Kunta's Groove tour.
No, I got it, man. The artistry is there.
The whole band thing.
Yes.
Yeah, he missed it. Yeah, he missed it.
No, yes. I'm just saying that, and I'm trying to hook this back into the Prince thing, because to put out that documentary is to take delicate information and let the world have its way.
Right.
And who deserves that? They didn't do Elvis like that. They're not going to do McCartney like that when he goes. And that's why sometimes you can't tell the unmitigated truth to everybody, because they'll use it to destroy you.
That's right.
He speaks the way he speaks, because when he's doing that, I think about the fact that in Africa, like Swahili was the language that everybody spoke, so they could speak, like they could have a conversation in one native tongue, and outsiders didn't know what they were talking about. And sometimes that's necessary. You got to put walls around. You got to protect what's precious to you. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows about protecting blackness more than black people.
That's right. That's
what I mean? So if they got to stand still for 20 minutes or 12 minutes while Kendrick was on stage giving a history lesson, to a bunch of people who didn't really want to hear it. Like, first off, that takes
what they were hearing. That wasn't the problem. The problem was they didn't know what they were hearing, because it was like,
you're right. You're absolutely right. I keep skipping that point, that they didn't even know what to be mad about, except they didn't see anybody they recognized, and it didn't really inspire them to get up and move.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
right. They tuned in for something else, and they got Kendrick, and that's fine. They didn't understand it, but they knew it was something they're supposed to rebuke. How is that? How can you tell if you don't understand the content? How can you judge it correctly? So that means they're judging it based on a different criteria.
That's correct. Yeah, that's they got to be able to absorb what you're saying to them.
And that's what I'm saying. Is that if Prince's life is up for grabs, they do the same thing to him. Yeah, they can take what they want. They can twist it however they choose. They get it's like and I don't mean to come off like an egghead, but the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, right? Incredible. I didn't agree with everything he said, but if I'm not let me not speak from what I don't know. But what I understand is that some of the doctrine of Nazism was written based on some of his work, like where he's talking about like the Uberman, like the Overman, like the Superman, like all of that. Like they really basically took it, and twisted it till it could be used for their own plans. Obviously, right. How many people take the Bible and just go wherever they want with it, to try to justify whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's it's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
yeah.
I'm just saying, information. We're living in an age where people are in a hurry to be offended. I don't. I think they did the right thing, but not sacrificing Prince in that way. He was always more true to the music, than most of the other artists that I would say than most of his contemporaries. You know what I mean? I feel like he said what was really on his mind, and he's like, well, if you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine. Somebody made the point that it's like you hear a lot of people, Prince is, some people like him, some people don't, but you never hear anybody just saying, oh man, Prince sucked.
Yeah.
Because you recognize the artistry. He protected his own artistry by shutting the world out,
You can always find something for anybody. You can always find something
Yeah.
that Prince has done that will, like, even like an old elderly person that's not into, he's got something. He's got something
Yes.
that you would like to hear. It's just you just haven't heard it. So
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. So I guess I don't mean to exhaust the point,
no,
but I
no,
just wanted to touch that and say you don't know what it's. Some people don't know what it's like. It's like when I go into a restaurant. If it's me and my friends go into a restaurant, and we're the only black people there, sometimes we consider leaving.
really.
We really do. Because I know somebody in that place is going, "Oh, great." Here that's why I moved out here, is to get away from them. What do you
Imagine what they were like with the Super Bowl. If our Super Bowl was like, oh, there's too many.
Yeah, that's too many. It's too many, But I mean, but again, it's like I don't want any trouble. And I don't want to go where I'm tolerated. I want to go where I'm celebrated.
Right.
And I also know that when I'm dining in a room full of white people, I am their example for blackness for the next 90 minutes. Like I have the weight of their scrutiny on my shoulders. That's what it's like.
That's weighty.
Like, that's a condition.
The other part you're not seeing also is that if I am a white person sitting at an all black table eating, I am also that is on me as far as how is he acting? How is he communicating with everybody? Is he standoffish? Is he, is he open? Is he? I think he's racist. Let's look for anything racist. Let's see.
I understand. Yeah, no, there are certain kinds of black people that will really take that opportunity to give you what for, to test you and see where you're going. Yeah. I got it. I understand, man. It's like it can work both ways. Unfortunately, black people are very informed on the ways of white folks. Because you know your oppressor better than your oppressor knows their self. That's why women are spot on about men, because they've been, yes, you know more about your oppressor than your oppressor knows about themselves. So when women say, if I had the option to sleep in a room with a grizzly bear or a man that I don't know, I'll take the grizzly bear. There's a reason for that.
Well, luckily,
I don't mean we've done our time, man. I don't, unless you got anything else.
That we all have is obviously music.
Yes,
and I absolutely positively will not let you go without doing yet another push for the Together.
I'll be glad to. Absolutely. Listen, if you haven't got your tickets, they're moving quicker than any of us expected. So please go and get them, because we're pulling out all the stops. You got what?
I said I got to get my ticket. I haven't.
Get your tickets, man. Otherwise, you'll be watching the show from the dressing room, like on the side.
Yeah, I'll find somewhere.
Stand by the monitor guy or something. Yeah, but no. This is I'm really feeling a need to get out there and play Prince's music correctly, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody else. But I know what I know what's to come. I know what my people can do.
It's gonna be amazing.
So I'm interested in my basic interest is in raising the standard all around. I'm trying to give people something they have to catch up to, because by the time I'm finished with this, everybody is going to know what this is about.
And if you want to see it in action, it's happening April 19th.
Well, you catch it at the beginning. This is where it starts.
That's right. Well, unless you saw it last year. If you saw it last year.
Yes, that was a little different show. And God bless him. I couldn't get Sonny to commit to this one, which is why Rick Rock from Mint Condition is going to be playing bass. And also a situation had happened with guitar players. And I figured, well, let me get Homer. Odell, great guitar player, been listening to, man, we used to mess around with Prince back when I was in Mint Condition. Odell was playing all Prince's solos note for note and everything. This is a different show. This is more like what I'm planning on bringing to the public and to Live Nation if they want to bite, and I'll have guests from every part of Prince's universe in my band. I'll have Des come out for some shows. I'll have Brown Mark come out for some shows. We got Fink at this show, You know, hey, listen, if I get Apollonia's number, I'll call. You know, if we're
right.
in her city, why not? You know, I want to make it a place where everybody in Prince's universe can come and play, and the standard will be kept high, and the people will be entertained.
Mm-hmm. And again, Saturday, and I made this easy because the tickets went on sale today, and I made it easy so you can go to funkatopia.com/NPG. I mean, can't get any easier than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the tickets are running, but it's a tribute to the music of Prince. It's got members of the new power generation, including yours truly here, Michael Bland, Tommy Barbarella, Levi Caesar Jr., Dr. Fink of the Revolution, Homer, Rick from Mint Condition, G Sharp, JB. It's going to be a big thing.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait.
Amazing. Hopkins, Minnesota, and there's a dance party that's going to be happening after with DJ Dudley D about 5 or 10 minutes away, or something like that.
That's right. I'm sure he'll be, he'll probably put, the proper, little handbills and whatnot all over the place. So people will know where to go after.
Man, it's going to be just phenomenal.
But, I mean, I had to, God bless you. You saw like the one from last year where we kind of went deep. Like, I can't go quite as deep if I'm going to take it on the road, So I'm glad you got to see that. Like, yeah, I can't bring back blood on the sheets.
Yeah, I was going to say, blood on the sheets was like, I was walking to something. I can't remember. I was getting a refill on my drink. I think I was, and I was walking across the floor, and you guys started into blood. I was like, what's happening? People just now heard this song because around the time it was released, when they officially released it on that set, it had only been out. It had only been out what seemed like 6 months or something. I don't know. It was like something really, really soon. I mean, the song had been around, but as far as people being able to have heard it out in public, it was just like, it was a shock that you guys. That's amazing.
And I'm saying I did that to I'm like, that's how deep my pocket goes. I'm not scared to play any of it.
Pocket protector.
The pocket protector. Hold up, Bobby G. Bobby G said, "Hit me up, man. I'll go looking for you, Bobby. Get at me on Instagram or something, man, or I'll go looking for you." Bobby G, actually, he'd be great for some of this. Bobby G played with the time when I met him, and incredible guitar player. I think he's from out west. He's from probably from Oakland, somewhere thereabouts. Man. But great guitar player. Yes, Bobby. Yes, let's talk, man. But yeah, so I guess I'm just saying, it's like my band can play anything from any record, and we just might, Yeah, so since we got Fink, I want to honor, the work that he, some of the songs he played on,
during the Magic years, or
yeah. Yes, the Magic years. Why not bring back the Magic years? I'll do it for Quest. Do it for Quest. Bring back the Magic years. I'm trying, Quest. I really am.
I got to get the two of you on the show. I got to get him on the show. I got to.
It's like it's all friendly fire, man. Let him have his say. I'll get on with Quest. I'll be respectful. It's not like I'm generally respectful of all people. I don't feel like I don't really mess with anybody unless they stick their hand through the bars, into my cage. I don't mess with nobody, and I feel like he just kind of did that a little bit. So I had to sound off about it.
There you go.
I don't have any malice. I'm all for education and growth, just like the next person. I don't know it all. I'm trying to get there, man. I'm trying to learn and refine my process and be a proper human being about things.
I get it.
I don't want anything from this life that anybody else. It's like I'm not asking for more than the next person. Just a regard for the fact that I have I possess. How do I even say it? Most people have. All people have something to offer. Sometimes it's a matter of time. Sometimes it's a matter of personal reflection. I mean, I have recently realized in my own life that I attract greatness. I've started to look at, not only my wife or one of my friends or this person or that person, the people in my immediate circle are also a reflection of me. So I've started to, once the epiphany came, I started accepting their counsel more seriously. Like, it's like I'm really listening, because if we are ultimately a reflection of each other, it's like you're not what you're saying is not separate from me. I am a part of what's going on when you respond. If that makes any sense.
No, it does.
Like, I believe in quantum entanglement. You can call me crazy. I have the same birthday as not Thomas Edison, but Einstein and Quincy Jones. So, and what's weird is that I dress pretty monochromatically. Like, I wear basically black every day, all day. Einstein wore the same clothes the same combination of clothing every day. Quincy had a penchant for going off about like knowing how to, like, he knew all music. And that's really was my impulse also. I saw him mention, like, hey, listen, we can swing, we can bebop, but I can also schottisch, and one of the first beats my drum instructor taught me was the schottisch. I live in Minnesota. A polka gig fell in my lap every once in a while, and don't think I wasn't ready. Okay.
Wow. I didn't even know what a schottisch was.
A schottisch is it's a polka waltz, sort of.
Oh, okay.
It's in 3/4. Unless you're Polish, you don't really need to know.
Yeah,
it's all right. But I'm just saying, like, just to sum up that whole thing with Quest, it's like I'm a different, perhaps we're just different about it. I mean, I don't do what I do for my own pleasure. I get pleasure out of it. But, there's a reason why you can have 10 different drummers sit on the same set, and it sounds completely like a different set. Like, right. Your sound is like your sound is like your face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's same with piano. You can have 12 different dudes sit down at the piano and it sounds completely different.
Right.
So, I'm just doing what I can with the voice that God gave me. That's it.
And I'm glad that you did, and that's glad
where we can, because I heard you talking about that earlier. Can I say one more thing before you adjourn?
Yeah, go ahead.
When Jesse was mouthing that bass line from Prince, he said, "Man, you should have heard it," because Prince was, that shit right there was so funky, my neck got tight. He was he said Prince was playing some like flashlight keyboard bass on it, and he's wow, check out. I was like, what did Jesse just say? He said, round, check out. Like, that was funky right there.
Well, it's Jesse.
I'm crazy.
You can't escape. No. You guys got it.
I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
Oozing out of every single one of his pores.
He's crazy as a sprayed roach, and so am I. We all nuts.
Yeah, it's gonna be just ridiculous.
Bobby G said Jesse is so underrated. Bobby G, you're underrated, man. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
No, I wanted to thank you for coming back on, because you came in, like, you guys don't know this, but he came in in the pre-show we talked a little bit about it, and Michael literally sat in the green room the entire Jesse Johnson interview just so we could hang out and come back for this segment for you guys afterwards, and that's so awesome, man.
Yes, I turned the camera off and I muted it, but I kept the headphones on.
Yeah, it was just amazing, amazing. Well, Mr. Michael, I'm going to let you go, but thank you once again. Again, do not forget about this big event happening on April 19th.
My man.
Find out all about it right at Funkatopia.com/NPG. Make sure you get your tickets.
Yes. I will be posting. Put the pressure on me, Mr. Christopher. I can take it.
Yeah, I'm going to. We're gonna sell this thing out. We have to make sure it gets sold out.
Pressure, man. The pressure, brother.
Yep, it is. Dun, dun, dun. Am I going to think of Queen or Billy Joel when you say pressure? I don't know which one I'm going.
I was thinking about Sounds of Blackness. The pressure.
I was thinking Billy Joel was the first one that came to my mind.
Oh, no. That's a good one, yeah.
It's a little pressure. Yeah. All right, Michael, thank you so much, brother. Have a good night.
Hey, we doing that. Okay, man. Thank you
so much. Not doing anything else. Not going to do anything on you.
Get them tickets, y'all.
Get those tickets. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause to the one and only Michael Blair.
Hey.